It says, my son, hearken to my wisdom, incline your ears to my understanding, to watch your thoughts, and your lips your guard knowledge.
Since we started reading Proverbs, it's been starting off the same way. The
Right.
same way. Like he warning us to attend to wisdom and to get understanding.
Right. Keep going over the same three principles. So, like you said, it started all the same. Listen, it keeps starting out. Listen to my words. Listen to my wisdom. It keeps starting the same way because that's what comes first. Listen to the words. Verse 2 says to watch your thoughts. Focus on his word and watch your thoughts. It says in your lips your guard knowledge. There you got the three principles right there. Wisdom, understanding, and knowledge.
Right. And if you don't attend to wisdom and you don't listen, so if you don't attend, if you don't give your attention and you don't listen, then you're not gonna get any wisdom. You're not gonna get it. If you ain't attending for it, you're not attentive, and if you ain't listening, meaning when the word of the Most High coming to you, and you close your ears to it, and you don't hear it, or you may hear it, and the first thing you might do is say that's for somebody else and it's not for me. That was speaking for this person. That's closing your ears off to the Most High. Because all the words of the Most High is for each and every one of us. It don't skip past us and jump on somebody else.
So if you don't do the first two things, the rest of this don't matter. If you ain't listen to the words, the rest of it don't matter. Don't expect nothing. Especially him to keep up his part of his word. You ain't gonna listen.
Right. And in verse 2, I don't know what version you reading now, but I'm reading the Tanakh version. It says that thou mayest preserve discretion and that thy lips may keep knowledge.
Right.
So you don't want to be out. You don't want to be out here sounding like a fool, and you want to preserve discretion, right? Because your discretion, when the Most High is speaking to you, especially through His Word, that's gonna keep you from a lot of danger. That's gonna keep you from putting yourself in places that you know you shouldn't be at in the first place. Things happen to people when they're not where they're supposed to be because they don't have discretion. But when you got discretion and you got wisdom, you go where you're supposed to be at. You stay away from places that you shouldn't be. You avoid certain people that you shouldn't be around.
Right.
You avoid things that you shouldn't be around. Things that you shouldn't have. It's like a person who has diabetes and all they do is eat sugar and eat stuff that's gonna make they condition worse. That's a foolish person. They don't use wisdom. They have no discretion. Because instead of helping a situation, they're making a situation worse.
Right.
So when we acquire knowledge and wisdom, we make our situation better. No matter what situation we in, if you got knowledge, you learn how to move. You know what to do and what not to do. Go ahead, Al.
Okay. So tell us, listen to what he's saying, and he's finna tell us the game. He's finna tell us some distractions that we're gonna occur, especially us men. It says, "For the lips of a strange woman drip honey," meaning she know what to say. She know how to make you feel good. She know how to make you blush. You know what I'm saying? She know how to make you feel like you got it going on. It says that her palate is smoother than oil, which means she know what to say, like I said. Verse 4 says, "But her end is as bitter as wormwood and as sharp as a two-edged sword."
So she say all the right things. She smell good. She look good. Everything she say is sweet to you. She always tell you how handsome you is and how good of a man that you is and how you handle yourself and all that kind of stuff. She say everything that you want to hear, and vice
Mhm.
versa. That man tell you everything you want to hear. Yeah, yeah. We all seen Martin, right? Remember when Martin asked Tommy what love is, and he was like sharing, caring, commitment. He said all the kind of stuff. And then he said, until you get the draws.
That's it.
So until they get what they want from you, they tell you all the things that you want to hear. They tell you everything that you want to hear until they get what they want. And it says her end is bitter as warm wood, sharp as a two-edged sword.
So
You
this
ever
one,
met somebody?
go ahead.
Y'all ever met somebody who dealt with the wrong person and that person just completely took that person's confidence away? Well, you used to know this person, the person was always a happy-go-lucky person, was a good person, and then he just changed. They real bitter, real mad, real angry, hate the world, hate all men, hate all women, because they fell for this. And this what we read, and man, I love this book. It's preparing us for what's to come and letting us know if we inquire wisdom and we keep that wisdom and we get discretion, that we could prevent these situations from occurring. We don't have to be that angry, bitter person that mess with the wrong person. They snatch the soul, they snatch your soul right out your body. Ain't got to deal with people when you love the ground they walk on, and you asking yourself why this person don't love me back. We avoid those pitfalls, but you can see the naive people, right? They just walk in head first, and then they fall. They fall into this pit. They fall on that two-edged sword. And that two-edged sword, it ain't cutting and healing. It's just cutting. And one cut gonna cut you, and the next one gonna cut it deeper. So go ahead, Al. I know you was finna say something, right?
Yeah. And then look at who this coming from. This coming from Solomon. He's telling us the game because you know what his end was. So he's sharing his experience, his strength, and his hope that we might follow these instructions and avoid, like Eric said, avoid some of the pitfalls. You know what I'm saying? He's telling us the first thing you do not walk away from these commandments. So these commandments gonna keep you from all these situations. And then he start naming situations. So the first situation he coming to tell us about is the smooth talker, that dude or that woman.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna come with the game. They're gonna come and tell you everything that you want to hear. Everything. And this is the same thing that happened to him. So he's sharing this here. So which one of us got Solomon asked God for not wisdom. So which one of us think that we got more game, are we smarter than Solomon? That this Solomon fell for this, but we won't. I'm too smart to fall for this here. Which one of us think that we smarter than Solomon? And he had a direct plug to the Most High. He actually spoke to the Most High and
Mm-hmm.
conversed back with him. And he conversed back with no one else yet. So which one of us think that we know more than Solomon? Because he's telling us what he's gonna tell us what his mistake was, and he's telling us what to watch out for, so that we don't have to go through some of the stuff that he went through. And he's telling us what distracted him.
Mm-hmm. And also it's like, a wise person learns from the mistakes of others, while the fool, they learn from their own mistakes, or sometimes they don't learn from their mistakes.
Right.
But a wise person, they gonna watch other people make mistakes, and they gonna learn how to pivot and how to maneuver. And no, I can't do that. That's what this person did right there, and that left them right here. You know what I'm saying? I can't mess around with this. I ain't got to go through something to tell you that it ain't no good.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we just listen.
Mm-hmm. I ain't never been to jail, but I can tell you that's a place that you sure enough don't want to be.
Take your word for that one.
And I ain't never been shot, but I know it don't feel good.
That part right there. Take your word for that too. He says, "For the lips of a strange woman drip honey." There's anybody outside of your wife or your spouse.
Right. That strange woman. Mm-hmm. That woman, like I said, that ain't your wife, ain't your lady.
Right.
Or she might be married to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
A floozy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, that's what they used to call them, the floozies. Mm-hmm. They say the lips of a strange woman drop honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil.
Hey, sugar daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you ain't careful, she talk the pants right up off you. She ain't even got to touch. She just gonna talk your pants off.
Some make you even forget your name. Claude. Claude. That never happened to me before.
You know what? If you watch Life one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Says, but her end is as bitter as wormwood and as sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet descend to death. Her steps come near the grave. So you gambling with everything, dealing with this. I mean, he warned us. This is the warning right here. It's the warning right here.
It's like sometimes like we read this stuff and we think like it's a little extreme, but it's been some people. How many stories have you heard that a woman don't want to be with a man and he take his life and he take the life of that woman that he was with because she don't want to be with him no more?
All you gotta do is look at the newspaper.
This stuff happens every day. That her feet go down to death, her steps take hold on the netherworld. So down to the grave.
And
She gonna take you.
if they would have had this knowledge and applied this knowledge, that stuff would have been avoided.
Mm-hmm. But some people can make you feel the ways that you never thought you could feel before in your life. And when you love a person and you don't love yourself, you do things and you settle for stuff that you should never settle for. And when you don't have the love of the Most High, you definitely are fall for anything. Like people leave, you know what I'm saying? They in these relationships and the person like, oh, if you leave, I don't want to live no more. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have life without you and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff is real. What Solomon warning us about is real. It happens and it happens every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then like half the time that men die or, shootouts or whatever the case may be, most of the time it's behind a woman.
Mm-hmm.
See, the wrong woman gonna put you in danger, but the right one gonna keep you out of danger. Not to bring this up, right? But it's just y'all remember when Will Smith got up and he slapped Chris Rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went from laughing to getting mad when he looked at his wife. But a wise woman would have told him to calm down and made sure he didn't go and make a fool of himself. But when you're dealing with wicked people, they don't care how you react. They want you to react. They want you to put yourself in harm's way. They like, oh, go tell their boyfriend, oh, this nigga, he tried me, he did this and that, and guess what? Now he want to prove to his lady. He want to prove something to his lady, and now what? He dead and he gone. And meanwhile, she gonna move on with her life. So it's the kind of stuff we gotta watch out for. There's really some people in this world that just ain't no good.
Verse 5 says, her feet descend to death. Her steps come near the grave, which means this person is going to lead you further and further away from the law and what's righteous. Verse 6 says, let you weigh the path of her life. Her path wanders off and you should not know, which means she's unstable. Her mind changed from day to day. As soon as you let go what you have for her, she gonna let you go too. You're gonna lose everything, and you're gonna end up loving her the same way that person that you loved you. When you was just a thing for her, she was never stable. It says that she get you when it says closer to the grave. That you weigh the path of her life have wandered off, and you shall not know. She's not stable. It says, now children, hearken to me and do not turn away from the sayings of my mouth. He warning us of these relationships because we have a tendency to let our guards down when it comes to relationships. And he telling you how to choose one. Because if you have a wife, then you already got what you need. And if you keep these words, you're gonna be distracted from that spouse of yours. And he's telling us this. Relationships can make us defocus. That's why I keep saying, tie these words to your heart, write them on your forearm. Look upon the borders of your garment. All that stuff is there to help us stay focused. And if we don't wear it, that just make our struggle just that much more harder. Verse 7 says, and now children, hearken to me, and do not turn away from the sayings of my mouth. What's coming out of his mouth is the law. The law is the key to all of it.
We always get in trouble when we hearken to someone else, and we don't hearken, we don't listen, we don't focus, we're not attentive to what the Most High is saying. Adam and Eve, they was told by the Most High what to do, and then the serpent comes and tell them to do something else, and they departed from the words of the Most High and hearkened to the word of a serpent, a talking serpent who is wise. Every time we don't listen to the Most High, and we start listening to other people or whatever the case, we get drawn away from the Most High. We get drawn away from the Most High. Yeah, I remember when who was it Jeroboam, right? The angel told him that he was gonna give him
10 tribes.
10 tribes, and he told him it was his. But he convinced himself that they would turn against him and go back to Jerusalem after the word of the Most High already came to him. So had he would have just hearkened to the Most High, who knows how the northern kingdom would have turned out.
Right.
But since he didn't, they just went on the path of wickedness.
That was like the worst thing that ever happened to them. And it caused a whole bunch of stuff behind it. To this day. Still
right.
dealing with that this day.
Right. When you don't have discretion, when you don't have wisdom, when you don't hearken to the words of the Most High and you do your own thing, it always leads to trouble. Same thing with King Saul and why he was rejected. The Most High gave him clear instructions and he did his own thing. The Most High's like, listen, I told you what to do. Don't remix it and do your own thing. Do what I told you. Because when you remix it, that's when you run into problems.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Al.
Verse 8 says, Distance your way from her, and do not draw near to the entrance of her house.
You see, when you act in discretion, you won't even come near her.
That's Proverbs.
You be like Joseph. Remember when Potiphar's wife was coming at Joseph? He would walk all the way around the long way just to avoid her.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Right.
proverb.
But some of us, we start feeling ourselves. We want to ride by the strip, ride by spots we know we ain't supposed to go. And then you could pass by them. You could pass by them, but all you're doing is setting yourself up a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Is they got this thing. They got this thing that says that if you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later, you're gonna get a haircut. So it'd be people and things. It said, do not go to her house.
Right.
Be at a
Says
total disadvantage.
says remove thy way far from her. Far. Don't come to her house. Don't come close to our house.
And we'll figure some of us think that we got game, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's just gonna Solomon right here warning that this person gonna lead you to further and further away from the Most High, to destruction and to your death. He told us that
Mm-hmm.
off the bit, but we think that we got all the game, and you know what I'm saying. She ain't never been macked by
Right.
a nigga like me. You know what I'm saying? I show
You
y'all.
see?
Watch.
Mm-hmm. Or when you try to fool yourself and be like, when you run into a chick and she get to talking, y'all get to talking, you're a married man, but she talking and saying, and you telling that you're married, and she like, oh, I respect your marriage, and I ain't gonna, we could be friends or whatever the case may be. I ain't, you know what I'm saying, smooth talking, and you go for it, and you convince yourself that ain't nothing gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna respect your marriage.
I should hit you with that. Are you happy? And all it takes is for you and your girl to be going through a little disagreement and stuff, and that's all it
Mm-hmm.
needs. That just that little crack. When you
Right.
start paying attention to that stuff, when you take your out the most, all it takes is a little crack.
Right. It says remove thy way far from her. So that means don't even give conversation to,
Run.
to people. You married. What you doing talking to somebody, a stranger who's not your husband? You have no business
Reading
dealing with that person. You should just keep walking. I'm sorry, I'm married. I'm not interested. And
Right.
you keep it going. But the moment
reading in Proverbs.
you give it attention because the person might throw a compliment at you and tell you you're beautiful or tell you you're handsome, whatever the case may be, you stop and you give it attention and you marry.
And
So
you
first
said
off, that let a person know that you don't respect your marriage.
so.
Because
When you start getting
you
attention,
will
like you
stop.
said, when you give it attention, like you said, that's one of the first things Solomon said. With that soothsaying, they're gonna tell you what you want to hear. And when you get at that,
Mm-hmm.
when you get at your ear, it's like a
Seduction.
magnet. You want to hear more and more and more.
Oh, you said I look good? Oh, you like my hair? What about my shoes? You like how my shoes compliment my dress?
Mm-hmm.
My husband will never compliment me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or when the female tell you, hey man, just come over the
That's
house.
a proverb.
Just come over the house real quick. I made something for you. I know your wife don't cook like that, but I just made man, you can just come pick it up.
This sounds like a chapter in Proverbs.
Yeah, we're in Proverbs. We're in chapter
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, Proverbs chapter 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you let that person to talk to you, when you don't stay away, when you allow a person to reel you in, there's no good that's gonna come from it. Go ahead.
Verse 8 says, distance your way from her and do not draw near to her entrance of her house. Verse 9 says, lest you give others glory and your ears to a cruel one, that strangers be stated with your strength and your labors be in the house of an alien. You're gonna be out the door. This ain't gonna end good for you. So I'm just going on out there with it because a lot of times when people be cheating, it be like it's a high that you get from the sneaking part, from that sneaking and getting away, like stolen waters. Solomon gonna cover that too, but it's like a high that you get, and then when that thing becomes yours and you don't got to sneak no more, then all the excitement is gone. The interest is gone because the excitement is gone. So now you can't go back home, and she don't want you no more because this ain't exciting no more. Because now you belong to her 24/7, and you left with nothing. And this was Solomon was warning about. He said, "Lest you give others your glory and your ears to the cruel one." Not only that, you got to worry out. You got to worry about what happened to Samson. Them chicks had niggas jumping out the closet and everything on them. Verse 9
Go
says,
ahead.
others your glory and your ears to the cruel one, that strangers be stated with your strength and your labors be in the house of an alien.
And like it says in thy years unto the cruel. Like before you know it, like you get involved in stuff, and the next thing you know, you done lost years of your life that you can't get back.
Mm-hmm.
Time is something that we wish we all can get back, but you can't.
I don't know. It said this Lazarus say that the alien gonna be in your house. Because when your wife divorced you and take everything because you did what you did, this part of the punishment. Solomon,
Mm-hmm.
Solomon's saying right here that an alien gonna live in your house. He warned us of it. I read this book, and this how this part goes. You get caught up in that love stuff, and you walk away from my words. If you want to, this is what's gonna happen to you. And some of us don't see it till we get there. Then it's a day late and a dollar short. She don't even remember your name. She called you what's his face.
Mm-hmm. All because you didn't listen. Somebody tried to lay it out for you, but you didn't listen. And we all had people that be in our ear trying to warn us. You know what I'm saying? Most High put people in your life to try to warn you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing wrong,
You don't hear that.
you don't want to hear from the people that's gonna tell you about it.
You're gonna start telling yourself stuff. I mean, you got because you got to believe the lie first. You're gonna start telling yourself that, oh, when God closed the door, he opened up another one. You married the whole while, but you convincing yourself of this because you having the trials in your relationship with your wife, and then you get distracted. You convince yourself that God closing one door to open up. We're telling us we got to believe that lie first. We'll
Mm,
convince ourselves of it because we want what we want. This has nothing to do with the law at this point.
right. And also, like when you're dealing with people that you shouldn't be, you get in relationships that you shouldn't, and when they cut ties, years of your life is gone. But you'll sit and you'll convince yourself, you'll forget about everything that they did to try to break you as a person. And you will hold on to little moments to where they did sweet talk you and this and that, knowing that the bad outweigh the good by miles. But
Mm-hmm.
you sit and try to convince yourself like you messed up, you did something wrong, it used to be good. No, person used to put hands and feet and everything else on you. This person tried to break you.
And that part comes when we don't. When we still refuse to grab a hold to the law.
Mm,
Because you're trying to grab a hold to the law, that's making you spend time. You got to learn what the law is and be trying to meditate on it one verse at a time or one chapter at a time or whatever. to strengthen ourselves. And when you're not doing that, it just get worse and worse and worse until, like he said, you'll start blaming yourself. All he needed was I just should have loved him a little bit more, because you don't want to be lonely. You don't want to go back to the law. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But the Most High just sit right there and let you go through what you need to go through till you are totally broken and come back to him, just like this chapter said. Just like the chapter says. Verse 11 says, and you shall moan when your end comes. You're going to be crying, poor me, poor me. Why she want to do a nigga like that? I mean, this was my house and stuff, but now you going to put me out of my, you know what I'm saying? He remember all that stuff now. It says, and you shall moan when your end comes, when your flesh and your body are consumed. And you will say, how is it that I hated discipline, that I hated to be corrected, because people tried to tell me that he was no good for me, or she was no good for me. I ain't had no business over here. I ain't had no business over there. I ain't want to hear none of that stuff. It said I hated discipline, and my heart despised reproof. I ain't want to hear nothing nobody had to say. All I wanted to call was somebody that was going to co-sign my stuff, to understand that she was the problem and not me. I'm sick and tired of that over there.
Mm-hmm. This is what happens, like when you get engulfed in sin. You hate the law, you hate instruction, you hate for anybody to correct you, you hate for anybody to tell you about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All you want people to do is pat you on the back and give you props that you don't deserve.
Mm-hmm.
All you want somebody to stroke your little ego.
Mm-hmm.
Like he said, you crying. Now you crying. Now you crying. When you all alone and you realize that you done broke up your whole family. When you realize you can't get your wife back. When the side chick don't want you and she did what she wanted, which was break you and make you miserable and break up your happy home.
Mm. When it was foretold, when it was warned.
Mm.
Verse 13 says, and I did not hearken to my instructors. I mean, I wasn't listening to the elders. I wasn't listening to my brothers and sisters that was trying to warn me. I told them niggas that maybe you never been in love like I've been in love. And maybe you never felt the things that I felt. Started convincing myself. But anyway, it says, and I did not hearken to my instructors and to my teachers. I did not incline my ear. I didn't want to hear nothing they had to say. So I convinced myself they hating on me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14 says, I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and the assembly. It says,
Mm-hmm.
drink water from your cistern. See, here you go. Drink water from your own cistern and run waters from your own spring. That's your
I
own,
mean
your own. And then the
that
rest
means
of this stuff, it won't happen.
be content to grow with your own wife. Be content to grow with your own husband. Water that grass on your side of the lawn if you want it to be greener. Tend to your own business. Tend to that relationship. Mend that relationship that you got with your wife. Y'all maybe ain't vibing right now, but do what you can to make that better. Don't go looking for it outside of the house.
Right. Go to the counseling. Whatever you got to do. Go on the fast. Sometimes we need to seek professional help. But what this chapter is saying, you already got what you're looking for in this other woman is you already married to it.
Mm-hmm.
You already got it. You can, like Eric said, you can water the grass. You can make it green again.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you make it green? Sometimes we need professional help. You got groups you could join, counseling, therapy sessions. Those are different types of water. That's how you water your own thing. And after you exhausted all of those things, but I'm saying you don't let that be behind no woman. If you and your marriage ain't working or whatever and stuff, don't let that be behind some other person.
Right. And don't, let's not get this twisted in what this is saying, because some of us, we get married to that wicked woman and we think it's gonna get better, and it ain't. This ain't talking about a wicked woman here. It's talking about that good woman that you know that you married, that you've been neglecting, that you looking at her shortcomings and using it as an excuse to run out and do your own thing, what you probably wanted to do anyway.
Right.
This telling you to tend to that, tend to her.
Let's fix that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that take work. That take work. That's how you get down and to the nitty gritty in the dirt. Let's do the work. It's easy to point out each other flaws. But a lot of times the same thing that you run away from be the same thing that you run into.
Right. It's like we set ourselves up for failure. You run to a woman, you tell all the problems that you having with your wife, and if that woman wants you, what you think she gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
She gonna pretend to be everything that your wife ain't.
Mm-hmm. What marital advice that she gonna give you that's gonna be good anyway? That's gonna be fair. You know, already crossed the line by going over there. You point of no return at that point, and that's what Solomon trying to avoid. Stay away from those situations. Stay away from those relationships. You're gonna meet somebody, make sure that you ain't dealing with nobody, and preferably try to find somebody that's going in the same direction you that's in this law.
Right.
Hmm.
And when we talking about, we talking about the law here, like dealing with our wife, and like the law tells us, like a lot of dudes who cheat on their girls, they couldn't handle if they wife cheated on them or did the same thing that they was doing. They couldn't
Mm-hmm.
handle that. So if you know that you can't handle it, why would you do it to somebody else? The law tells us to love thy neighbor as you love yourself. And if you know that you can't take it, then don't do it to somebody. That's how you love your neighbor as yourself.
Right.
You treat people the way that you want to be treated. You treat your wife with love, kindness, and respect so that she show you that same love, kindness, and respect.
Okay. Verse 16. Let the springs be dispersed abroad and the curses of water in the streets. Let them be only thy own and not the strangers with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed and have joy with the wife of thy youth. So he's saying, look, maintenance, keep the maintenance up on your own wife. Enjoy your own wife. Then it says, um, A lovely hen and a graceful doe. Let her breast satisfy thee, and let at all times with her love thou be ravished always. Talking about with your wife.
With your own wife.
Right. Now, why should you, my son, be intoxicated by a strange woman and embrace the bosom of an alien one? Why would you want to embrace a strange woman when you married this one here? And the only way we get in these situations is when we don't do what verses 1 says. Give whole to the ear. Listen to with your whole ear. Incline my words. Make these words a part of you.
Right. And, and if you're not satisfied with your wife, and it says with her love be ravished always. You ain't satisfied with your wife, then you try to find that in other women. And it ain't gonna turn out good. We gotta learn how to be satisfied with our wives.
Mm-hmm.
Just sometimes you might have to spice things up, you know what I'm saying? And do some things different. Maybe you have to start, dating your wife again. Take her out on dates. Do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's right.
So this is stuff that we need to take care of. You know what I'm saying? Don't look for it outside of your marriage. Don't step out on your marriage to try to get what you're not getting from your spouse. Especially if you like sometimes we don't even talk to our spouse about what's bothering us about them. We just hold on to it and just get mad. We blow up but never had a conversation with them. And then go out and tell other people about the problems that you have with your spouse. But you have a problem with them. Why are you not talking to them about it? Why are you talking to other people about it?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we expect our spouse to be mind readers and they just supposed to know us and they supposed to read our mind and you know what I'm saying, have telepathy and know when I'm dealing with something or I ain't feeling a certain type of way. Like too old to be playing games. If you feel some type of way, say it.
Right. And I think that's a I think a lot of us get caught up in that, thinking that somebody can read your mind. If you don't say it to a man clearly, because the man ain't like built like no woman, so nurturing and stuff that ain't in our DNA. We can learn that stuff, but like it's easier for a woman to know when something wrong with a man because they had that nurturing spirit from when we buy all them doll babies. They learn how to take care of stuff as little girls, so that's in their DNA. So they always know when something wrong with us, and they assume that we supposed to know when something wrong with them, and we don't. We'll never guess it, and we'll never know unless you tell us. And when you wait for us to guess, and that causes friction, that causes problems, because you're expecting us to, like you said, read your mind and know this about you when men ain't built like that. We're not.
We're about to wrap it up in about 5 more minutes. Hey Al, yeah, verse 21.
Verse 21 says, "For the ways of a man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he maketh even all his paths."
The Most High is watching everything you do, and you will get back what you put out.
Mm.
He's gonna make even your path. You out there doing wicked, oh, wickedness gonna definitely come back to you.
Exactly.
It's you definitely see. Listen, if you ain't gonna do certain stuff out of the love for your wife, do it out of the fear of the Most High,
Right.
because you know that the Most High don't agree with the lifestyle that you live in. So do it out of the fear of Him.
Mm.
When you don't do certain things, I don't do it because I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, I fear that my wife gonna get on me. I'm afraid of the Most High because He put it on me. This gonna be something I might not be able to recover from.
And you're right about that. Do it out of the fear of the Most High. I remember when I was married, in the second marriage, that same fear kept me from cheating. Even though that person was doing all type of stuff, I just couldn't do it because I was scared. I was scared. I was scared of the Most High, and I wasn't into the truth like we is now. But I had that fear. I didn't want none of that. I mean, that was probably one of the smartest things I did. Regardless of all that stuff that happened to me, I wouldn't do that. I was scared. I wasn't scared of her. I was scared of what the Most High was going to do to me.
Right? It says, "For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Most High." So it ain't nothing that you can do
That he don't see.
that He don't see or that He don't know. This is how He knows your heart, because your ways are before Him. Because everything you do, He's watching. We got angels watching over us that's reporting back to Him everything that we do.
Mm-hmm. Report
And,
everything that we do. Exactly.
and all this stuff, like if we could sit and we could look at the stuff that's going on and stuff like this, all this stuff just be this little to where you had little moments of passion or whatever the case may be. And that stuff could ruin your life
Mm-hmm.
because you're not thinking, you're not using wisdom. So you go and you get involved with the woman that Solomon tell you don't listen, separate yourself. I'm talking about far from her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give attention.
Don't ride down her street.
You you go you go to Walmart or whatever you going to get groceries, and some man complimenting you, telling you how beautiful you look and this and that, or they like your hair, they like your dress. Thank you, and just keep it walking, keep it
Mm,
pushing. Don't entertain it.
there you go, right there.
But the moment we start entertaining stuff, that's the moment when things take a turn for the
Be-
left.
because
It may start off as something innocent, but it's gonna go to something that ain't so innocent.
your feelings and your emotions is just like it's sitting right there like a snake, just waiting to strike, just waiting. As soon as you start entertaining, it's just waiting for opportunity so it can get out of hand.
Right, and then it may come somebody being nice to you or whatever the case may be, and you, like Al said, like you and your wife could get into an argument or disagreement. You storm out the house, and maybe you got this person number, and you just call up. You mad with your wife, so you go call another. First of all, whenever you thinking like that, something bad always is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Solomon telling us the Most High is warning us through Solomon, letting us know to be careful, have discernment.
I think it comes to the last person that we go to talk about it when those situations occur. Be the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
The last one we're going to talk to.
Right.
And by the time we talk to him, again, we be on bended knees, broken all up, crying.
Mm-hmm. Just like it said right here. What it said? It says, and thou moan when thy end comes. Now you
Mm-hmm.
crying when your end comes.
Mm-hmm.
Now you broken all up. You done messed everything up. Now you want to go to the Most High.
Now you love your kids.
Mm-hmm. You ain't love them before when you was sneaking off and geeking off.
Mm-hmm. When you had to can't go tilted to the side, or you went and bought your brand new wig and got your eyelids done and your booty
Mm-hmm.
lifts up and down in
Right.
your red
Ain't ain't
bottom
think
shoes.
ain't think about your kids one time when you were stepping out, leaving them, spending less time with them to go spend with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But when things go awry, now you care about the kids so much. And now you thinking about the time that you to miss with them.
Mm.
That's why it says
Not only that,
that.
and another step, like that messes up the whole family. Like when the parents, like when that stuff happens and everybody going their different ways, that affects the kids as well. That same stuff that Solomon trying to warn us about. That job mess up
Mhm.
the kids and all, because those kids gonna have a problem with their parent that went out and messed up everything.
Right. And just think about this, right? Just think about this real quick. You the man who always tell this man to to to, to you train him up to how to treat a woman and how you supposed to treat a lady and this and that. And he found out you been cheating on his mama and you hurt his mama beyond repair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you think you gonna have that respect for you?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? These divorces, when kids go through divorce and all this kind of stuff, this stuff gets ugly.
Right, and it affects the kids. They can't concentrate in school. They got other stuff. They dealing with peer
Mm-hmm.
pressure, all that stuff here, and now this on top of that. Like
And this,
that distraction causes a lot of just. It's too much to lose.
right, and then this is what also like your decisions and the stuff you do affects. It don't only affect you.
Right.
When you don't act in wisdom or in knowledge. Remember when in Sabbath class, when you were talking about, oh, you're doing something now you're in jail because you want to prove a point to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about how that affect the family. Now the same family that you were trying to feed, now guess what? You taking money from them to feed you, to put
Mm-hmm.
money on your books.
Mm-hmm.
You taking away from your kids, spending time with their daddy and learning what they need to learn from their daddy, and
Mm-hmm.
putting pressure on the woman to try to be a father too, because
Mm-hmm.
you ain't there. See, when we act, when we don't have discretion, when we're not prudent, prudent meaning giving thought to your future, our actions affect more than just us.
Right.
They affect more than just us. With David, when he did what he did with Bathsheba, his actions affected more than just him.
Mm-hmm.
Uriah got killed.
Mm-hmm. And Bathsheba had to live with that. She had to live with that too.
Mm-hmm. And then he had his kids, his son raping his daughter, his son trying to kill him. All this stuff happened because of the choice that he made, a decision that he made.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we gotta sit and you gotta think like a wise person would sit and think about my actions. I sit and I entertain this person. What could this lead to? Is it gonna be worth it? If something materialized from this, if I go out to dinner with this person, if I say, oh, we could be friends, I could use a friend. We could be friends.
Don't be so
And I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
What can go wrong? You gotta give attention to this. Yeah, man, I love this book of Proverbs, and for everybody that's on, and for those who could not make it, this is being recorded, and it will be sent out later this week to everybody who wasn't able to join or whatever the case may be. If you came on late and you missed some, it's being recorded so that we can send it out to everybody. So with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up for the night. We know there's people that got to be up early in the morning, and we don't want to keep nobody late. So shalom to everybody. And I pray that the Most High be with y'all.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
All right, good night.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.